It's time for this channel's first product review. And in this video, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on Vivobarefoot shoes, having worn them for 3 months now. So to give you some context, for about 15 plus years now, I've been wearing orthotics. I've got slightly fallen arches, and when I was a young kid, I started getting some pain in my foot, saw a podiatrist, got given orthotics, and I've basically been wearing them ever since. But over the last couple years, I've started to get a lot of aches and pains. I've had problems with my left knee, problems with my right hip, aches in my calves, aches in my neck. And this is all despite the fact that over the last year or so, I've really been trying to do a lot more flexibility and mobility type work. And so recently I started thinking, could all of these issues be stemming from my feet and from having these permanent wedges in my shoes? And so because of all this, I started to look more at barefoot shoes. And to give you just a bit of information on barefoot shoes, the principle is that they allow your feet to move more naturally, as if you were walking barefoot, while still giving you some level of protection. And I think the argument is that traditional shoes have these thick, rigid soles with elevated heels, which restrict the natural movement of your foot and alter your gait. Where barefoot shoes have a very thin, flexible sole which aligns the foot more naturally. And so I think the argument is that by promoting a more natural gait, barefoot shoes engage your foot and your leg muscles much better. They improve your posture, improve your balance, and reduce the risk of injury. And obviously this all sounds great, and I thought that this could be a solution to a lot of my issues, and so I was sold and started researching barefoot shoes and came to the decision to buy a pair of Vivobarefoot shoes. Specifically these Primus Lite III, which I think are one of the most popular pair of Vivobarefoot shoes and is supposed to be an all-rounder for training. So firstly, let's talk about the price. So these were £135. So definitely not cheap, and I think there are cheaper options out there. However, I feel like a lot of good running shoes or gym shoes these days are around that sort of price, and so I'd say that they were probably a pretty market standard sort of price. Now let's talk about the look of them. And well, I like the color of them, but that is about it. Because honestly, barefoot shoes, in my opinion, are just ugly. And one of the reasons I actually got these Vivobarefoot shoes is because I think they are about as good looking of the barefoot shoes that I've seen, but they're still ugly. And I'm someone that really loves trainers. Ever since I was a little kid, I've always liked cool looking shoes, and this ain't that. I mean, some people seem to think that they're not bad looking, but I do not agree. And honestly, I am yet to see one pair of barefoot shoes that I think are genuinely cool. In fact, every time one of my nephews sees me in these, he goes, "Why have you got the clown shoes on?" And I think that about sums it up. Next, in terms of comfort, and it is a completely different feel to normal shoes. They are super lightweight, they are obviously a lot thinner and have a lot less support than usual shoes. They're super flexible, and you do have this quite sensory feeling with the ground, and it does feel like your foot and your calves are having to work a lot harder than usual. And so my initial impression is that they are not as comfy as normal shoes, but to be honest, I think it would be weird if they were as comfy to begin with. And over time, I do feel like they're actually getting comfier, and they definitely do offer enough protection. They also do fit true to size, I would say, and Vivobarefoot actually have a very cool size assistant tool on their website that you can use when you're looking to buy a pair. Finally though, how has my body been feeling from wearing these Vivobarefoot shoes? As the main reason that I got them was to hopefully help with my aches and pains. Well, firstly, in terms of my feet have actually been feeling really good. Now, with the orthotics, they would keep my foot pain at bay, but I would still get really quite sore and achy feet. Where since I've been wearing the barefoot shoes, I haven't actually been getting any of that. And I feel like my feet are about as good as they've ever been. And I do feel that even in this short period of time, my feet do feel a little bit stronger. And I've also been noticing a little bit more flexibility in my ankles when I've been doing certain stretches. So that has definitely been a real positive. In terms of my right hip, I haven't seen any change in that area yet. I'm still getting stiffness in my hip and pain to the side of it. However, I do think these shoes actually allow me to get a little bit more range of motion in my hip when I'm doing certain stretches again. but unfortunately that hasn't had any positive knock-on effects for me yet. Now, the final body part to mention is my knees, which are currently terrible. In fact, my knees are the worst they have ever been, and I've even started getting pain in my right knee, which I never had before. And I do think that a lot of this is down to wearing the Vivobarefoot shoes. Before I blame these shoes too much though, as I said at the start of the video, I have had these knee and hip problems before I started wearing these shoes. And over the last month or so through working with a physio, I have come to learn that I do have some imbalances in my body, particularly when I'm squatting and even a little bit when I'm running. And so I think what these shoes have really done is more just exacerbated the existing issues that I have. And I think in particular, it is the thinness and zero drop heel that has been putting quite a bit of pressure on my knee. And my knees just ultimately don't seem to be able to take that pressure currently. However, I will admit, I did go from 15 plus years of wearing normal cushion shoes with my orthotics to trying to wear these barefoot shoes. And I think perhaps that jump was a little bit extreme for me, and maybe I did try to do it a little bit quickly. I think that this model of shoe is actually a very minimalist shoe with very little support, and it is very thin. And I was aware that people say that you need to ease into wearing barefoot shoes, and I have only been wearing them in the gym and when I've been going for short walks. But I think looking back, I probably did need to proceed with more caution and really try to build up more how I was wearing these shoes. So overall, my experience so far with Vivobarefoot shoes is not a good one. Just because my knees really are in such bad shape at the moment. Plus, they're ugly. However, despite all that, I'm actually not going to give up on these shoes just yet, because I really have bought into the principles of barefoot shoes and do think it should be possible to strengthen your feet, and I do think that that can then help other parts of your body as well. Having said that, I am going to be scaling back how much I'm currently wearing my Vivobarefoot shoes to hopefully ease some of my pains, and I am going to be continuing to work with my physio to try to fix some of my imbalances. And I'm then hoping that as my pain subsides, I can start more slowly this time to start wearing the Vivobarefoot shoes once again. And I think that would be my recommendation to anyone that is interested in wearing barefoot shoes. Really do just ease into how you're wearing them. Perhaps only wear them, say, half an hour every couple of days to begin with, and just give your body some time to see how they are reacting to wearing the barefoot shoes before you then start wearing them more. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do let me know, as perhaps I can do an update video in another 3 or 6 months as to how I'm getting on with the shoes. Please do also check out my previous upload here, and please do subscribe to the channel. Thanks very much, and I will see you in my next video.